I want to ask you about the sad incidents in the stands. I haven't got a chance to hear from the stands the weekend. I know the club's put a statement out, but what was your reaction when you found out?
Well, when he briefed me on me and told me about the incidents and the statements, obviously, as a club, we'll all support the statement. I think Forest is a very inclusive club and does a lot of good work. And I guess the focus should be on a lot of the good things that we are doing, and like any club, that then should hopefully outweigh any negativity. So like I said, I believe the statement has gone out, and like I said, I think it's also a good opportunity to support the statement, but also to promote a lot of the good things the club are doing with all sorts of aspects of life nowadays, and like I said, that will always outweigh any negativity.
There's a human element to it as well, I suppose. When you hear fans saying it was the worst experience that they've had in the stands, it must be difficult for you to hear that as sort of person, the head coach of the club, the sort of, that connection that you have with the fans and people walking away.
Well, that's the first I've heard of that. But I repeat, I know that the club above me have spoken, put the statement out, and that will be a collective from everybody, and everybody will support that statement as a club. But at the same time, like I said, try and highlight a lot of the good things that this football club is doing. And it's a very inclusive club, I have to say, in so many ways. And hopefully that can always outweigh, like in anything negative in life, you want the positives to be the more prominent force, and that'll be the case here for sure.
Let's talk about the game itself, and how big a game does this feel after the back of the last two defeats?
Well, yeah, you never want to be losing games, that's for sure. Although that can happen in this league because of the nature of the intensity of it and the constant level of opponent that you can come up against. But you've always got to look forward and look to whether you've on the back of a good result or bad result. Start again with your preparation and go into it knowing what it takes to do well in the game, and that'll be no different. So we're not too influenced, obviously, by results. We're influenced by how we learn from some of the things that we haven't done well in games, and also try and strengthen things that we have done well in games, because both of them things have existed, and try and put it together with the context of the opponent, which is Everton next, and put a plan together and try and deliver it. But it's a brilliant game to look forward to. So 5:30 Sky. The lights will be on, and it's what you want. These games are why we work so hard to get in the league, stay in the league. Like I said, a Saturday evening football is where we want to be. So we more than anything are really motivated and looking forward to the game.
We talked a lot about the progress being made this season, and yet we've seen reports, rumours around your future and all that kind of thing. Is it frustrating, and do you feel backed and secure here at the moment?
Well, I don't pay any attention to it. I think that as a manager, you're never too far away from excessive praise and also the opposite. So and some clubs will be noisier than others. So I don't pay any attention. I didn't last year to both of them things, and I won't now or in the future as well, because in my mind, it's irrelevant. What's relevant to me is our work, is our commitment to the players, our commitment to the supporters, doing our very best to make this season another progressive one. On the back of the last two, and to do that, there's going to be ups and downs. And one thing's for sure, I really like being the manager when things seem to be going well here, but I want to be the manager even more when it's on the back of a negative result, or even a couple of results, because that's what I think this club deserves, a manager that cares as much as I do. So like I said, nobody likes a couple of poor results, but it's going to happen, especially where we are with our second year in the Premier League and trying to, like I said, trying to progress, even if it's just a little bit. To do that, there's going to be all sorts in the journey, and that's going to be highs and lows. And it's one thing being a manager when it's going well, but it's a real thing to be a manager when it's maybe not. And that's what I want to be here, because like I said, not, you know, how much I care for the club. So we know our plan, we know our work, and so far the club has progressed, and our aim is to continue to do that.
Thank you. I think it's that one, actually.
That was it.
I think so.
I'll hold them both. Well, yeah. As Anton was alluding to there with the job, I mean, it's certainly not the first time you've been under pressure here, and it's certainly not the first time that you've been backed. So would you say it just comes under the job, you know, the remit of being a football manager in the Premier League, or can it keep you up at night?
Well, you might know the answer to that, Pete, because you'll speak to a lot of managers, not just me. I don't, like I said, over the top praise and unfair criticism, I think it can be the life of a manager, and I just don't pay any attention to any of it. All I really want to do is just focus on the day-to-day work and doing everything for the football club, you know. And honestly, you're right. It's not the first time. If whatever's been said this week, I'm not too sure. But whatever it is, it wouldn't be the first time since we got to the Premier League. And as like I said, some clubs seem to be noisier than others in certain situations. So I'm not going to get caught up in it too much. I don't, you know. And I said the same, probably give you the same answer in situations before, and maybe I'll do that again. But that's just me. For me, it's always the greater good of the football club. It's always how do we get ready for the next game. How do we continue to progress on a real positive period that the club has had over a couple of years, and give everything to that, because there's so much joy that you can give in this city to the supporters and to the people that work at the city ground and the training ground, and they're the only people I think about, nobody else, you know. And of course with the players, that's always our aim.
The good thing is, this time around, you are at least being linked with other jobs, so there's something. Was it really galling for that reason that you've just mentioned for the fans to lose that home record last week?
Yeah, you never want to. If there's something good is going on, you never want to. Never want to see it ending, do you? But this is football, you know. It's hopefully we can win an away game sooner rather than later, and the questions will be, okay, well, you've done a little bit better than last year in terms of wins. So there's always something to talk about on the back of good and bad results, and on the back of last week, it was that, you know, a home record or run had been stopped, but we've got to use that now for motivation to get back on track. And I say that because obviously the next game is here, and a great one, a brilliant one to look forward to, which we are. I've loved training this week, which I always do anyway, because of the spirit in the camp. We have such a together group. We have such a vibrant training ground. I know, and that has been built on the back of really pulling through some real highs and lows of last season. You know, there's a real bond amongst the players and the staff, and nobody will interfere with that, you know. And what we have done, I think, quite well, certainly since we've been in the Premier League, is used setbacks in the end to make us better. And that doesn't mean it's going to be instantly, but over time, because it is setbacks that define where, or recovering from setbacks that define where you end up being. And last weekend was a setback, so let's deal with it and try and put it right.
Seemingly, you'll come up against a similar mentality then, won't you, against Sean Dyche? What have you tweaked this week? Because it's going to be a very different game, a very different attacking threat.
Well, I think Everton, obviously, in my opinion, have been playing well and are in good form. Even you know, I thought they played well last week at home. There's obviously context around the situation that I said. I think I was asked last week after the points deduction was announced about what does it mean, and in my mind I knew we were playing them fairly soon, and I said straight away I think it makes the game even tougher because it's a tough game. They have a lot of good players, a lot of Premier League experience, you know. So I mean the team doesn't change obviously. So it's a game we've got to be ready for, but you know. We're really focusing on ourselves this week. You know, we obviously respect every team we come up against and the threats that they have, and for sure, like everybody else, Everton will have that as well. But it's how we deal with that and how we impose our threats in the game that we want to be more important, and that's what we're aiming to do. So, like I said, a real good game to be involved in. I repeat, you know, the Sky 5:30. I think it's 5:30. Is it 5 o'clock? 5:30. 5:30 kick-off, and you know, it's really where we want to be, and these are the games that we really want.
Cheers. Good luck.
Thanks, Pete.
I think just one from me. You sort of touched on it a moment there. You were talking about the spirit and the training ground, and we talked so much last season about building a culture. And I wonder if you've had to do that again this season. Again, a summer of quite a lot of change. Yeah. Has that been part of your job over these opening months?
Yeah, is the answer, because you're right to say there has been a lot of change again, and you know, that's something that always adds to the challenge, not just for me as the head coach, but for everybody, the players included. But still, there are quite a few players that were hurt here last year, and we tried to use that and build and sort of get the although there's been a lot of new players again, to join what we built last year and continue to do. And you know, I feel that has strengthened even more. There's a real togetherness between the players, the staff around the players at the training ground, and I think that will serve us well for everything that will come this season, because we will probably experience everything again, and it was an important factor last year, and it will continue to be an important factor this year, and we won't let anybody interfere with that.
You really carried the fans with you on that last year. I wonder how much you're going to need them, especially perhaps this weekend. You're going to have a very motivated away end this weekend. How much?
No, we'll have a really motivated home stadium. You're right. Definitely, we'll have a motivated away end, but we always have a motivated home ground, and that's what's probably from coming back into the Premier League and being on this world stage, which is what it is. You know, the fans have given off a brilliant representation of Nottingham and the football club, and for all the history and the values that it stands for. It's been done a brilliant job of that, and we've tried to do our best on the pitch as well, and that's where we've really come together. And you don't just lose that. You have to keep it going. You have to earn the right in terms of results and how you play and the effort levels and all that sort of stuff. And fans will be exactly the same. But being as together as we are, is you're right, give us at times an edge last year when we really need it, and no doubt that will continue going forward, because when we are coming into games where, well, all of the games are tough, and all of the games you have to be brave, and sometimes you have to roll your sleeves up as well, and that's, you know, on and off the pitch, and you know, that's when we have really been at our best. Thank you. Hi, Jake.
Hi, Steve.
Okay.
Just playing, juggling the microphones.
Yeah.
Just any update on injury news? Any players available or not available from last week?
Ibrahim has just joined him back in training. Had a really bad virus that obviously missed the game last week, and took him time where he was allowed to travel back to the UK. So that's knocked him, to be fair, and it's going to take a little bit of time to recover and get back up to full health. But we're glad that he is back with us and back out onto the grass, albeit not in full training. Apart from that, we were as we were, to be honest.
Great. So, one player that I wanted to ask you about is Andrey Santos. Seen a few reports this week saying that Chelsea are considering recalling him in January. Is he still someone that's a part of your plans, and how's he been developing? Well,
I'm not too sure about what's been said. I think that, of course, everybody would have liked Andrey to play more. He is a really, really good young player. There isn't a load of players of his age that are, you know, playing regularly in the Premier League, and he's the sort of situation that if he was sort of ours, then he'd be in a perfect situation that, you know, he's in and around the first team. We're looking to involve him, trying to give some exposure when you can, but knowing that you're developing him, getting him ready. The context to it is he isn't ours, he's Chelsea's, as you said, and that probably just adds a few sort of question marks to the situation, which I would understand. And you know, I take youth development or actual individuals' youth development personally. Means a lot to me, because of maybe my background and you know where I've spent a lot of my coaching, and that'll be no different with Andrea in terms of the training program. Yes, you know, game time has been very minimal and limited. You can't deny that, but I think the questions come up because he's not a Nottingham Forest player in terms of you know, being his parent club. But fine young player, you know, bright future, and like I said, I really hope whatever happens, that even up to now it's not been game time, that he can take some positive experience from it. But we're certainly committing to our everyday work with him, like we do with every player, but particularly the young ones, because of the stage of the journey that they're on. But like I repeat, you know, there's not a load of players his age that are playing loads of minutes in the Premier League. And when it's not quite there, you have to make sure the development programme is right, and that's what we're trying to commit to, even though, like I said, he's owned by Chelsea and not us.
And just finally, like you say, 5:30 kickoff, Sky cameras are there. Does the City Ground, I mean, you've waxed lyrical about the City Ground atmosphere and the home fans before, but does it have that extra special feeling when there's a night game?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I don't need to wax lyrical. It is it doesn't need anybody to say it. You can feel it, you know. You can experience it just by watching it on the TV or being in the stadium or even being around the city. You know when it's a match day. I guess Saturday will be another brilliant example of that. I know it will.